everyone to the East London Mosque. My name is Dilwar Khan. I'm the Executive Director of the East London Mosque and London Muslim Centre. So we'll be starting our iftar event now, and we'd like to start with the recitation from the Holy Quran. And we have one of our guest imams from Egypt, Sheikh Ahmad Rajab is here. He's going to recite a few verses from the Holy Quran, and then Sheikh Fadel Soliman will reflect on those verses and give a short presentation on that.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا يسخر قوم من قوم عسى أن يكونوا خيرا منهم ولا نساء من نساء عسى أن يكن خيرا منهن ولا تلمزوا أنفسكم ولا تنابزوا بالألقاب بئس الاسم الفسوق بعد الإيمان ومن لم يتب فأولئك هم الظالمون يا أيها الذين آمنوا اجتنبوا كثيرا من الظن إن بعض الظن إثم ولا تجسسوا ولا يغتب بعضكم بعضا أيحب أحدكم أن يأكل لحم أخيه ميتا فكرهتموه واتقوا الله إن الله تواب رحيم يا أيها الناس إنا خلقناكم من ذكر وأنثى وجعلناكم شعوبا وقبائل لتعارفوا إن أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم إن الله عليم خبير صدق الله العظيم.
Thank you very much for your beautiful recitation. Before 1 hour to spend just listening to some of the guests we have here. So our first speaker today is Sheikh Fadel Soliman. Sheikh Fadel Soliman, he is the director and founder of Bridges Foundation. He is active in de-radicalization of Muslim youth, and he also writes blogs and he makes films, and he's working on a new translation of the Holy Quran. So he'll give a short speech on the aspect of diversity and Islam for about 10-15 minutes, and then we have other speakers from different faith groups will be speaking as well. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. Shalom alaikum. Actually, the reciter recited a verse that Muslims always use in such events and always print on anything that they send to non-Muslims, to an extent that I think that non-Muslims know this verse by heart now. And that's the verse number 13 in surat al-hujurat, the surah called Chambers, and it's the surah number 49. It says, O mankind, indeed we have created you from male and female and made you into races and tribes that you may know each other. Indeed, the most noble of you in the sight of Allah are the most mindful among you. Indeed, Allah is all-knowing, all-aware. And actually, this verse is a very dear verse to my heart, because it's an answer to a question that I used to have in my mind for so many years. For so many years, when I saw people fighting each other, I used to wonder, why did God create us from different backgrounds? And people are fighting each other. Men and women, those who are married will understand. Whites and blacks. For centuries, there have been problems between whites and blacks. Arabs, today. Koreans, maybe tomorrow. And I used to wonder, God is all wise. Wasn't it a better idea that he could have created us all from one background? From one sex, one race, one color, eating the same food, speaking the same language, and people won't fight each other. Imagine this, we could have been all Chinese, speaking Chinese, and eating Chinese, which is good for me at least. Or we could have been all white, speaking Italian, and eating pizza. Some of us may think now that, we could have been not, at least fighting with each other like what's happening today in the world. But actually, imagine that this could have happened. I believe that many businesses will go out of business. Airlines will go out of business because travel where? See what? It's a boring world. Everything is the same. Hotels will close down. No tourism. And it will become a boring world. So God in this verse is telling us, I created you from different backgrounds, from different races, from different tribes, from different sexes, from male and female, so that you may know each other, not fight with each other. So when people go and try to attack religions and say, because of religions, people are fighting, we tell them, no. God in this verse told us, he created us different so that we can get to know each other. When people fight each other, this is man-made. War is man-made. But the issue is, what I want to elaborate about now is not this verse actually. The Quran is a book of guidance, and it benefits a lot when it is pondered. It benefits when it is read in context. That's why I asked the reciter who recited today to recite the two previous verses as well, in order to see the context of this verse. So the previous two verses to this verse that talks about diversity say what? O you who have attained faith, no people shall ridicule other people, for they may be better than them. Nor shall any women ridicule other women, for they may be better than them. Nor shall you slander one another, nor shall you insult one another by nicknames. What a miserable label is ungodliness after attaining faith. Whoever has not repented, those are the unjust. O you who have attained faith, avoid making too many assumptions. Indeed, some assumptions are sinful. And do not spy on one another, nor backbite one another. Would any of you like to eat the flesh of his dead brother? You would detest it. So be mindful of Allah. Indeed, Allah is accepting of repentance, bestowing of mercy. And then he spoke about getting to know each other by telling us, O mankind, we have created you from a male and a female and made you into races and tribes that you may know one another. Indeed, the most noble of you in the sight of Allah are the most mindful of you. Indeed, Allah is all-knowing, all-aware. So, this is a verse called the Chambers, as I told you, and it descended in Medina, which means it did not descend in the first 13 years of the Prophet's mission when Muslims were oppressed. No, it descended after the establishment of their state. And the Prophet was not just a prophet, he was even a ruler. So these were rules, these were laws descending, telling them about human rights and about human dignity. In their country, the human being should be dignified. according to the United Nations Declaration of Human Rights that was declared in 1948 by the General Assembly of the United Nations, Article number 12 says, no one shall be subjected to arbitrary interference with his privacy, family, home, or correspondence, nor to attacks upon his honor or reputation. Well, in those verses that we learned now, that descended 14 centuries ago, God told us that ridiculing the human being is forbidden 3 times. Slandering the human being is forbidden. Insulting the human being is forbidden. Spying on the human being is forbidden. Backbiting a human being is forbidden. Assumptions which are not supported by evidence are forbidden because they lead to prejudice. And then the Quran talked about getting to know one another, because we cannot get to know one another with prejudice in our hearts. So we need first to eliminate the prejudice, to remove, number one, the assumptions that are not built on evidence. Assumptions are something that happens within yourself. It's true. So some people think it's not harmful, even if I have assumed something bad about someone else. It is so harmful. Why? Because it's true that it happens within yourself, but it can lead you to backbite that person that you assume things about him. So you backbite him with other people. Those people, some of them may ridicule him or her. And some of them may insult him with using offensive nicknames, him or her. And some of them may spy on him or her because of the prejudice. All this started with prejudice. And some of them will slander him or her. All of these things were forbidden in the verses. And then God, after commanding us to protect the dignity of the human being, even within ourselves, He commanded us to get to know him or her. Because when you know people, you may excuse them for even the things that you dislike about them. And you will discover some other good traits about them. When you know people, you will learn from them and they will learn from you. But always remember that this get to know one another should always be based on a clean ground, on a clean heart, a heart free from prejudice, free from assumptions. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Sheikh Fadel Soliman, for your very nice, sweet and short presentation.